Hello, guys. This is our show, Mega Movies. Today, we're giving you our review for Guardians of the Galaxy. We're gonna go over the positives, the negatives, the post-credit scene, and who our favorite Guardian is. And then we're gonna give a score out of 10. So, I do need to warn you guys right now. We will be talking to you as if you guys have already seen the film.
That means if you haven't seen this movie, spoiler alert.
Major spoiler alerts to this whole review. So I would watch out.
Don't just turn it off, because you want to just fast forward through the whole thing so we can get your view. See what it is. Never mind.
Or add it to your favorites or your watch later list, and then watch the movie and go back to it.
That's it, right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're going to be covering the whole movie, start to finish, what we thought was good and thought was bad.
Because not every movie is perfect, so we will have some negatives.
Yeah. So you can think of this as Guardians of the Galaxy in 20 minutes.
Yep. So, here's our review. We'll start with you, since this is your first time watching it. What were some positive elements about the film to you?
Well, number one, I just want to go straight off and say that the CGI was pretty good. I have to say that, even though the movie itself, it was really awesome, just have to say, but the CGI really brought it to life, and I've seen better CGI, but I thought it was definitely a positive in this specific movie, and that's just one point that I have, and that's the lowest point of what I thought was good about this movie. There was a lot of great things. There was the acting, there was the story. I thought the story was just great. The bad guy, hateable.
The humor?
As always. The humor was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
Man, it was just, I loved that. I love that movie. I just saw it. It was awesome, I have to say.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
And it's better the second time around for me, personally. I was dying whenever he told me we were gonna go see the film again. He's like, we probably won't be able to see it until Thursday. I was chewing my nails because I knew I already saw the film, but I just wanted to see it again because it's so good and it has a good rewatchable factor. Yeah. X-Men, best Marvel movie of the year, but this was just a lot more fun and a lot more, just rewatchable than X-Men is. It's you can rewatch this over and over and over again,
right,
and never get bored. You can rewatch it to try to get all the songs, or you can which the song music is amazing. It's the best.
If you like oldies,
I recommend. If you've seen the film, actually, also if you haven't seen the film, just buy the soundtrack because it is the best movie soundtrack you would ever have. It is amazing soundtrack. So go get it.
If you love oldie songs, you're gonna love the soundtrack.
My biggest positive is, of course, I did think it was funny. It was so humorous. And I loved just the chemistry with the characters. The characters. They made you love and they made you hate some of the characters. They did good with all the characters. I love the chemistry between Groot and Rocket. I want to see a Groot and Rocket standalone movie just about them two.
It's about them
That would be awesome.
I gotta say, this guy, I don't know, but I love Rocket Raccoon, and even though sometimes he's an absolute butt face, that's just the way he is, he's just awesome. I love him, and he's always been my favorite Guardian, even before this movie came out, and they did a great job on him, honestly. Even though he didn't have an Australian accent.
Yeah, but Bradley Cooper, by the way,
couldn't even tell.
Best performance of the entire movie was probably Bradley Cooper because he changed his voice to a New York accent type guy. I'm terrible at that.
Yeah,
but
that's pretty bad. Shame to all New York.
I know, right? I'm sorry for all you guys in New York watching this video. I honestly am not trying to make fun of you guys. I just suck at any impression. Yeah. He did such a good job. I couldn't even tell that was Bradley Cooper.
He was a raccoon, and he almost made me cry.
Bradley Cooper has upped his career so much that I need to say that if they add best voice acting to the Oscar poll, he should get nominated.
Yeah.
He should get nominated for best voice actor if they ever add that. To, like,
Yeah,
the
no,
Oscar
I'm sitting
poll or
there looking
something.
at an animated raccoon, and he's making me like tear up and stuff. I'm like, what? That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I didn't cry at Les Mis. Everybody says I'm
He's
heartless.
so heartless.
I
He's
technically
so
didn't
heartless.
cry at this movie.
Yeah, he never cries in any movie.
No.
Any movie.
Afraid to watch The Passion because if I do and I don't cry, everybody's gonna say you didn't cry at Jesus.
If you don't cry in Schindler's List, I'm gonna be like really mad at you.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Either way.
Okay. But to the point, what I loved, you loved the visual effects. I didn't know if you noticed this much, but I absolutely loved the production design of the film. Like the setup, what they built, what they did, like how, like everything they built and made. Like the production design was, the visuals were good, but the production designs are Oscar worthy.
I know,
They
yeah.
were like, it was like super good.
It was great.
It
like
was great
the,
production design.
the ship and like all the stuff. I mean, I love
that scene where Ronan wakes up and you see like that whole thing they built where it's like the thing goes out and you like it's like
Yeah.
a circle thing that like goes out and you see like Ronan waking up and he's like, that was so cool. And then the part where he's like walking through the tunnel and he's talking about how the place has like eagle sort of vibe or whatever he says.
You know, yeah, and I'm talking about like
It's
the production design, like
Yeah.
the set design, and with the along with the visuals, you know, kind of made you forget that it wasn't real.
Okay, this is by far the best. Go see it in 3D if it doesn't hurt your eyes or give you a headache. Because he didn't see it in 3D. He's going to see it again with me one day in 3D though. But it is the best 3D movie of the year so far. The visuals in 3D, everything like that is just super great. I would say though, you haven't seen this movie yet, but Dawn of the Planet of the Apes beats every single film in existence, maybe besides Return of the King, but every other film in existence by like a landslide. I watched Dawn of the Planet of the Apes with like looking at them and I was like,
You mean visuals?
yeah, visuals wise. I was like, how did they get apes to act? I was like, wow, because it was so real.
Yeah, I know.
And this makes you actually think that real trees can walk around and real raccoons can come to life. And
Yeah, I mean,
it's pretty
I
cool.
have seen. I will admit, I have seen better visuals, but
Yeah.
it still did a very good
Yes.
job. Did a very good job.
Probably the best visuals in the Marvel movie we've seen all year.
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
But
yeah.
I mean, setting aside visuals, which is really just like
yeah.
not much, but a good, you know, foothold. I just liked the way the movie like played out. The plot. I guess it was either the story, the plot. I don't know what it was, but there was this certain charm the movie had that I just want to go see it again, like right now.
Yeah. You know, the biggest surprise to me is, for all you guys who don't know Dave Bautista that well, he is a WWE superstar. And WWE superstars are known to be like the cheesy, non-good actors. If you interview him, he will say himself that he's not a good actor. He's not that great of an actor. Well, you know what? Some of you guys may not think he was a good actor, but he surprised me. Because for someone who doesn't have good acting experience, like Vin Diesel or Bradley Cooper or Chris Pratt or any of those other guys, for someone who doesn't have good acting experience, he wasn't the best actor in the world, but he did super, super well for the role he was supposed to be.
Yeah,
a maniac.
he did well.
He did good for a maniac, a big, giant Hulk-like character who's a maniac going crazy because his wife and family died. He just wants all this war against Ronan. And that is like, in my opinion, I thought that was like pretty cool.
And
And he was the funniest. Like the whole part where like Chris Pratt is like, where he's like, "That's when you," and then he didn't know what it was. He was
Why would I put his finger to my finger to my neck?
or he was like, "Why would I put my finger on his throat?" Yeah,
Yeah.
That was like, that was so funny. And then the part where he's like walking in there, he's like, "You know, all you guys are my friends. That dumb tree is my friend.
Yeah.
That green whore is my friend." It was just so funny. His one-liner is like, nothing goes. Metaphors are going to be flying over his head. Nothing goes over my head.
Catch it.
It was just so. He was so funny.
I know, he was funny.
I mean, I feel bad because I wish in a way that like Rocket, like, and them weren't as good. Because I grew up with Dave Bautista in my WWE years and stuff, and I really love him. He's like one of my favorites, but he's like my fourth favorite Guardian on the list. It's like, man, because I loved all the other guys, I'm like, I have to put you down there. He was one of the funniest. If you're wanting funniest Guardian, he'd make like this number 2 spot. He was like one of the funniest characters in like the whole thing. I'm not a princess. Like it was just so like
I know
it was so funny.
But I mean, so
fighter
and you know, I could really feel like the grief-strickenness of Drax the Destroyer. You know, he was definitely stricken by grief. He wanted vengeance, and
that is exactly what I mean.
He did very well by showing his emotions. You know, and I saw that in his eyes and in the way he moved. You know, and so I mean, for a WWE star, he did pretty well. I have to say, I didn't even know he was a WWE star.
Yeah, until like maybe just 13 seconds ago or whatever. But
it's not 13 seconds ago.
Yeah, it wasn't. Well, you know. It was, you know what I mean. Yeah. It's a metaphor. Okay. Well, that's the thing though. Is like I have to say, out of character chemistry, this is probably one of the best characters chemistries I've seen of all time, maybe. Like one of the best, because you had like grief, like you like felt so sad for every character because you know what they've been through, and like Drax, you were super sad for. He did a good job playing Maniac. Oh my gosh, Groot, one of the best performances. One of the hardest characters to ever play in a Marvel film.
What, Groot?
Yeah, in my opinion, because you have to say 3 words. And apparently, Vin Diesel, if you're watching this, you would like me announcing this, even though you've already announced this to everyone. Apparently, Vin Diesel said that on his script, they'd say "I'm Groot" on like the left side, and then on the right side, it would say what he meant by that. So he had to say it in different voices in a way that comes out like that's what he meant by that. And so he like had to kind of up his voice and the facial expressions and everything he had to do, the way he had to act, like he just did a great job of that. And you kind of felt like you felt for him. I felt that's why I have so much respect for Rocket. Rocket was a great character. You felt so much for him. You felt so much for Star-Lord. I love Star-Lord. He's probably my favorite one in the whole group, because he's like, okay guys, this movie is like Star Wars, if you think about it. It's like Star-Lord is like Han Solo or something cool. Or like maybe like Luke.
Star-Lord is pretty awesome.
Or Luke Skywalker. He was awesome, and just from the opening scene, you can tell how his character is going to be. That, hey, what?
I was just like, okay, this kid is awesome. Like, just saying.
Yeah, you can tell how his character's gonna be. Okay, he's gonna be the comedy guy of the whole thing. All of them turned out to be funny, but he was like a major comedy guy. But then you also knew, like, you felt for him whenever his mom died, and all that. You felt for him.
So it was a very emotional, a very emotional film. Whether you're laughing your head off, or you're like just feeling for the characters, or like wanting vengeance on the bad guy, or you're like saying, no, I don't want the whole thing to crash into the city, which it did, but
yeah. Before we get into negatives, I want to say too that I guess this counts as a negative, kind of, actually. My negative for me really was one of my negatives is they said this was going to be a kid-friendly film. I mean, it's a good Marvel film, but they had too much death in it to be kid-friendly, and then they also, like, his mom dying is, like, kind of too much.
It didn't seem kid-friendly to me. Sad.
And then just, like, the cussing, I mean, like, it's PG-13 cussing, guys, but there's a lot of it. Yeah. Like, a whole lot of it.
I never heard that it was specifically for kid audiences.
They said that they wanted to make it for kid audiences. That's why they want kids, like, dress up like them for Halloween. It's like, all this. It's like, but now, parents will probably watch this, and then they'll realize TMNT is, like, going to be PG, and they're like, oh, I take my kid to that instead.
Yeah.
So it's going to be.
But, I mean, it's just like, The Avengers. I mean,
Yeah.
it's no different.
That's one positive for me, is this movie is just fun. Like the Avengers, I had fun when I first saw it.
Yeah.
This film is just fun. This is actually, for me, the second best Marvel film of the year, right beside X-Men Days of Future Past. Just, like, I love Captain America Winter Soldier, don't get me wrong, I love that film. It's like my fourth favorite film of the entire year. I loved it, but it's just that, you know, this was just a lot more fun, more rewatchable. For a standalone film, Captain America beats every other film. But for this, like a team film, this kind of beats it just because it's fun, enjoyable, rewatchable, just everything. It's just great.
Yeah,
amazing. This film.
Putting great value and fun together. Imagine what that can do. But let's put on our critical faces. Here's the negatives. I'm gonna let him go first because he's good at it.
I'm actually a critic. I don't have my own, like, you know, website, but this is my critic YouTube channel. So I'm gonna have a critic YouTube channel.
Get on with it.
So you guys may hear me hate on movies, and you guys can, like, feel free to be your stupid selves and cuss me out on
right at our face
on comments and all that.
We're gonna have posters
but
on the walls.
People are entitled to their
With
opinions. So
sorry. Go ahead.
That was kind of creepy there, but okay. Yeah, for me,
Gotta take my pills.
my biggest. Hey guys, I'm drinking out of an Avengers cup. I just went to a Marvel movie. It's a Marvel cup. See that?
Yeah. We're gonna edit this out at the end.
I mean, yeah.
Go ahead.
But okay. But the biggest negative of the entire film for me was of course, the post-credit scene. They made us so excited. You know, they didn't even show it for pre-release screeners or for early screenings or anything like that. They didn't show it because they wanted a huge surprise. They said,
and they surprised.
We're gonna be surprised. They're gonna surprise us.
Yeah,
let's go over it.
And this surprise was so crazy that the person who voiced the character came after the credit scene. It wasn't included in the credits. So they didn't want people looking through the credits and finding this character in the credits going like, he wasn't in the movie, which he was so not in the movie.
I know, but okay, guys, it is. I recommend. I don't know how I sat through it again, but me and him probably are going to leave the theater early next time we see it because I didn't want to sit through it again, but I was like, okay, I'm just going to sit through it just to see how their expression is, and it was funny. I had one of my friends cracking up because of like how stupid and retarded it was.
And you know the scene started off fine.
Yeah.
You know, it was the collector. I was like, okay, so that's one.
It was like
hole.
It was like the collector, and then I thought, okay,
cool.
I was like, okay,
something cool.
Okay, maybe Iron Man could like show up and be like,
what?
It'd be like, hey, where are the Guardians? I want us to team up in, you know, Avengers 3 or do something like that. I don't know what I'm saying. But I just wanted something cool.
Right, it's something cool. And then,
cool,
you know, the dog's looking on his face, and I started laughing and all that stuff. And then this voice comes out of nowhere. I'm like, who the crap? And then it pans, and there's Donald Duck sitting there.
No, it's Howard the Duck, but still, Howard the Duck.
So a Donald Duck wannabe.
Kind of, yeah. If you've seen the, if you've seen the original, I don't know when it was, 1980s, something like that, 1970s.
Which I haven't, just saying.
Yeah, which he hasn't. I regrettably have at one point, actually, and I didn't finish it. It was awful. One of the worst superhero films ever.
Is he a superhero?
He's in Marvel Comics.
Well, does that make him a superhero?
He's crossed over with Ghost Rider, and he's crossed over.
I want that Ghost Rider to give him the stare of death or whatever.
What if they make another Ghost Rider film? They put Howard the Duck in there. And then that'd be like they might make another Howard the Duck film because of this, and if they do, I swear I'm
not gonna go.
So I'm not gonna.
Don't go, fans.
Don't go if they make it because that's gonna be so lame. But I was like, I sat through that thing hoping for an Avengers 3 thing or something cool like Thanos popping up again or some Age of Ultron type thing, something just cool, and then they showed Howard the Duck, and I was like, that was the biggest waste of my entire life. Are you
And
serious?
he looked like a cartoon character.
Yeah, he wasn't. They didn't even do. That was the one visual that they kind of messed up on. They didn't even do good on how he looked.
I don't even understand. Rocket Raccoon is a raccoon for crying out loud. And they did great on him.
They did great on him, but they did terrible on Howard the Duck. I was like,
Howard the Duck looked like a, I don't know,
well, maybe
something out of Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
But it's because it's Howard the Duck, and you know Howard the Duck is like supposed to be a cartoony type lame character, but he's basically, if you guys don't know who he is, he's a duck who wears a suit with like these big guns,
and he drinks coffee. What was he doing?
And well, he was drinking a drink, but usually he smokes a cigar in the comics.
Oh, so he's one of those guys.
But he's one of those guys. But he will drink sometimes, and it's kind of retarded. And and I'm like, I sat through.
You know what? I'm not really that horrible. It's not really that horrible as long as it's just like funny Easter egg thing.
Yeah.
You know it. But you see why I think it's
counted as one of the Easter eggs.
It's just an Easter egg in this movie. But the reason why I think it's so bad is because it might just spawn another movie, and I just do not want that to happen ever. No.
That would just, if they did that would just be awful.
And you know, I mean, they'd have to make it a cartoon.
I know. James Gunn. If you're not familiar with James Gunn is usually known for comedy. That's why this is so funny. But I was wanting James Gunn to be like, okay, don't try to put something comedic in this. Try to put something like cool in this. He tried to put something comedic in it. And stupid. Whenever I first saw the film, I was like, oh, him? I just like yelled as loud as I could in the theater, just like out of like rage that they gave me that. So that was a bit major negative. But real quick before we get into the other negatives, I just want to say a positive I forgot. I can't believe I forgot this positive. This was one of my favorite positives. Was
gotta put our positive faces on.
Positive faces, yeah. This is a short little positive though. Like, I just forgot it. I don't know why I forgot it. But Thanos, we got a full picture.
I know, yeah.
We got a full picture of how he looked, and he spoke. But that was kind of cool. We got to see the full picture. He looks just like how he looks in the comics.
That was cool.
It was really great. I loved it.
And back to our critical faces. And I have.
What's your negative?
I have a negative. Now, I'm not the negative guy. I'm very positive about a lot of things.
He barely hates any movie. He thinks no movie is bad. He thought that what is it? He thought X-Men Origins was good.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Every Marvel movie has something. Okay? Iron Man 1. I mean, I'm not going to get into the other Iron Man movies, but Iron Man 1 had this, you got a normal guy, and he's a billionaire, but he's a normal guy, and then he, gets a suit, and he's awesome, okay? The Hulk, he's a normal guy, has a radioactive thing happen to him, and he becomes this huge monster, okay? Thor, he's an alien, but, we haven't seen alien movies in the past that aren't, look like humans, the day the Earth stood still. And then you have, who's the Hawkeye? He's just a normal dude. Black Widow, she's just a normal dudette, and you got all these different things, but most of them are just their normal guys, right? And, we deal with Star Wars, and that's awesome, and, you got aliens and far out stuff and all that stuff, but this movie is very far out for a Marvel movie. This is
the strangest thing that Marvel's ever done.
You just, it's out there. Just throw all sense out the window because they can go in space without suits. What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That was another thing, but I'm getting off subject. I'm going to get to that in a sec, but you see, it's it's just space and that's fine and all the aliens and all the different planets and it's cool and it's lots of fun, but it's nowhere near believable. I didn't believe a second of it,
Yeah. Well, usually Marvel films, I saw the trailer of this and I was like, this isn't going to be believable. Oh my gosh. I just saw the trailer and I knew it. And a lot of Marvel films aren't. A giant green rage monster. Oh yeah, that's really believable.
Yeah, but it does its best to explain stuff, and this is all about aliens, but it doesn't give you any backstory to the the universe. You know, you have to just roll with it, and that's I guess what Star Wars did when it first started off. You know, if you haven't read the comics or like, I don't think they did a Guardians of the Galaxy cartoon.
They're doing a Guardians of the Galaxy cartoon after this movie. It's going to be on Disney XD. Check that out. I'm going to check it out.
That'd be cool. But you know, if you read the comics, you know all about this stuff. You know, and they do enough. But I guess that's my biggest down. You know, I mean, it's just like, and it's not even a big one because it's not enough to make the movie bad. You know, simply having it unbelievable. There's a couple of things that just didn't work out. Like, you can't float in space without a suit. The pressure, you'd explode. He was a regular human, even though at the end they said he was like half ancient something, but that doesn't matter, he still would have died like normal.
Yeah. And Rocket said you'll die in seconds.
Yeah, he was gonna die, but he was gonna die by cold.
Yeah.
Like, he was gonna freeze to death. And that would have happened too, except, you know, in space, when you go into space, you explode, you freeze to death, and you, like, vaporize all at the same time.
And I kind of don't get, like, what? They're immortal now? He held the power gem thing, and it's like he's not dying, but the other girl died whenever she grabbed it, and she's an alien.
No, here's what I don't understand. It said that he's like an ancient thing, which means he held on to it as long as he could. Like, I mean, he held on to it for longer, right? But it said that there was like these ancient people who tried to do the exact same thing they did, and they failed. And they were like these alien people like that knew what they were doing. These guys were just like, hey, let's hold hands. And it worked because they're the Guardians of the Galaxy, baby.
Yeah, that's
you
what.
know.
Yeah, like
because
you said.
Luck, man. You gotta have that coincidence to beat the bad guy. Otherwise, you know, it's completely unbeatable.
Yeah, I love the part where she was like, "Hold my hand," and then and he saw his mom there, because he never got to hold his mom's hand as a kid whenever she died, and so he felt sorry for that, and so now now he finally got to hold her hand by imagining Gamora as that. And speaking of bad guy, you might not agree with me on this, but I had a negative for there's two bad guys. The first one, I don't know if it counts as bad guy. I don't know why. I liked the Collector's kind of like weird feel to him. I wanted to actually see more of him. There's not that much of him. He was just like in a full scene. That was it. That was like it for him. And then the post-credit scene, that was like it for him. I was like, what? He's like out of it? Seriously? You could add more. And I thought that Ronan, he was like good for like I want to blow up the planet, but he's just kind of like the too, you know, bad guy. That
he didn't have a reason.
Yeah.
He was just ticked off.
Like,
I'm just gonna go commit genocide because I want to.
Yeah, like that's one thing with Captain America and Winter Soldier that I liked, is Winter Soldier was more of just like your bad guy that, you know, you're just not like, that's just like, he's not like
evil.
He's like, I'm not gonna he's like, he wasn't the type that's like, I'm gonna destroy the world, I shall kill him. It's like, he felt, I know you like Thor 2. I didn't like Thor 2, but the reason why I didn't like Thor 2 is Malekith. I didn't really like Malekith that much. He wasn't as good of a villain as what I thought he'd be. He felt very Malekith-y to me. He was like, you know, kind of like...
Yeah, but even Malekith had reason. Like, I mean, his whole species was dead.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
And I just thought, like, Ronan, he could have done a better job on the villain. Like, it was probably the weakest out of all the villains I've seen this year. But.
And I don't know if, like, you know, they said he was Kree, right? Which is cool. I was, like, geeking out in the movie theater. I was like, Kree, that's awesome. But, you know, he was, like, strong. I don't know if all Kree are strong, but his little minion dudes with their, like, assault rifles or whatever, they were not Kree. What were they? Because they died and, like, they were, like mowing the lawn with those guys.
Yeah.
And this dude is like, he's so powerful, he can hold the freaking Infinity Stone.
Yeah. And you know what?
Can all Kree do that?
Maybe.
That would be like not fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Captain Marvel is a Kree.
Yeah.
And he's like a superhero and stuff like that, but I didn't know all Kree were like so powerful they could like blow up planets.
I know.
With a fist.
It's
if they had an Infinity Stone, of course.
Yeah, but like that's the thing. That whole Infinity Stone part made me kind of like, really, because in a way you didn't see it happen, but you kind of saw him take the stone. And it's like he made Thanos like kind of run scared. I was like, really?
I don't think he would have actually beat Thanos if he went up against him, even with the Infinity Stone. Well, maybe, but at the same time, I don't know.
Yeah, he wouldn't beat Thanos, but Thanos was like kind of like.
No, he wasn't. He was all like, "You want to go, bro?" And and he was all like, "I'm gonna kill you, talking smack."
Yeah,
I'm trying to speak here.
Maybe, yeah. I
don't know.
Yeah.
It didn't happen.
That was,
Yeah.
one negative for me. But speaking of those like Kree guys that were like the Ninja Turtles with the guns, did you know? I think it was James Gunn who actually played one of them. James Gunn was a cameo in the movie. I think he played the one that was poking him, and he was like, "Ninja Turtle, stop poking me!" And he was like, that was a funny line. And he and I think James Gunn actually played that guy. And they had, of course, a Stan Lee cameo, and then the other cameo was from.
Every time we say something copyrighted, I think I'm going to say subscribe, just because. I just want to get that out there, just to say it's copyrighted, so you should subscribe to it.
Yeah, Nathan Fillion. This was a lot like Firefly, and
Nathan Fillion had a
cameo as the blue villain. That's not
the villain. He was just an inmate who fought with Groot, and that wasn't going to
well. Whenever I first saw the movie, my friend Josh, I was like, whenever Groot stuck his fingers up his nose, I was like, oh, like I could feel it, and then I was like, oh, geez. It was like, by the way, Groot. The reason I loved him, purity God. He brought that back. He just like whacked all those guys. Like,
and then he turns around and goes like,
did I do good?
Did I do a good job?
That was awesome.
Yeah. But either way, I have a negative.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Cool.
I didn't like the fight scenes.
Really?
Like the hand-to-hand combat. The one with Gamora and Nebula. It was cool, but looking back at the Winter Soldier and looking at that awesome fight scene between Captain America and the Winter Soldier,
and then X-Men,
the first fight scene, not the last one, even though the last one was really awesome too, but the first one was just like, you're blowing my mind.
The first one technically is whenever he throws a shield and he catches it. But.
Yeah, well, no, that wasn't a fight. That was just a pursuit. The fight scene where they're in the streets and they're like got the knife and he's like.
That made me worried.
I thought that movie was like, oh my gosh. But we'll get into that movie some other time. Either way.
Yeah.
But I was a little let down because this one wasn't like on par with that. It was just like the camera was all over the place and I couldn't see them actually like.
Yeah, hit things. That's true. I liked it like low like.
And the lady got hit with a freaking rocket launcher. And she survived. I guess that's like her power or something.
I know, that was like kind of weird to creep me out where she was like that and she was able to like get twisted back.
I thought it was. At first I thought it was Ronan.
Yeah.
And like the stone was doing something. Okay. I was like, what is happening here?
That was like a negative for me too. Is again with Ronan, I was kind of like, me and my other friend in the theater, we went with like 4 other people. Me and another friend was like, are you kidding me?
When he got hit by the rocket launcher thing, he kept on not dying, just died.
He like came up, and then it took them all to like go through that huge effort of holding hands, and then I was like, really? I mean, Malekith died with like one hit.
I mean, it practically took a Death Star to kill the dude.
Yeah.
That's basically what the Infinity Stone was.
That's basically what it was, and now you only got like I think 2 more gems to go, maybe 1, something like that.
No, like 5.
Yeah, there's 5, but they have 3. They have 1 from the Avengers, 1 from Thor: The Dark World. They have 1 from this.
What's the one from Thor: The Dark World?
You know, like black stuff that.
No, that's not an Infinity Stone though.
It is apparently.
But it's not a stone. It's supposed to be an ingot.
Well.
It's supposed to fit into the Infinity Gauntlet.
There was like a red cube thing that he had though in the movie. I don't know if you remember it, but there's like a red little diamond-shaped thing. Yeah, I think there was a red diamond-shaped thing. All I know is that I think there was that. There might have been 4. I think Loki's staff is 1. And then there's the.
No, it just has the power of.
Yeah.
The Tesseract, which is just one of the stones.
The cube, yeah. And then the one from this is one of the cubes. So we have 2 more cubes to go, and 2
or 3 if the Dark World one isn't.
Yeah, but if it is true, we have 2 left until you see Thanos get the Infinity Gauntlets and like kill a bunch of your favorite Avengers off in the 3rd movie. And if they ever kill off a superhero, I know you're gonna hate me for this, but I would be so happy because like they never kill off any Marvel characters. I get so frustrated sometimes because I'm like, okay, it would put more emotion into it.
Yeah, I definitely want to go see a movie where they kill my favorite character.
Okay, side characters like Hawkeye that no one really cares about, or
look, man, there should be
Nick
the symbols of hope. They're not
or-
just gonna kill them all.
I know, but
And everybody loved Agent Coulson way too much to just let him die.
I'm a comic nerd.
I know.
You know that I have to have Captain America die. That's why in the
But he didn't really die.
but the next one's called the
He came back.
the next one's called the Fallen Sun. I mean, I want like it might be called the Fallen Sun. So I want that to be like meaning Captain America might die and Bucky may take over his place and it would be just like the
I don't
comics.
want Bucky.
I want Bucky, okay? Let's just get off that subject.
I don't care about
Let's get off that
American Boy.
subject. This is about Guardians of the Galaxy. This isn't about Captain America. We're getting to Captain
Are there
America.
any negatives left?
There's very few negatives in this film for me.
Which is very unusual.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For me, because I do hate a lot of films, but I do love a lot more films than I hate
Do you
films.
want to like go ahead and do the rating thing now?
Well, first, I know that your favorite was Rocket. My favorite was Groot. And you. Who do you think that, like, personally, like, you relate to the most? Like, because you guys know that you relate to a Guardian. Everyone relates to the Guardian. What Guardian do you think, like, personality-wise, do you relate to?
Well, an alien god didn't kill my family. My mom didn't die of cancer. I didn't get abducted by aliens.
Well, I mean,
I'm not a raccoon.
I mean, personality-wise, like,
And I'm pretty sure I'm not a tree.
See, like I'm Star-Lord.
And I'm not female.
I'm Star-Lord because
green.
Because I would be one of those guys who. Like, I'm into 70s, 80s
Well,
music.
of course we can
I'm
relate
kinda
to Star-Lord because
cocky.
we're male and we're human.
I'm cocky and I'm all that, and I'm just like, you know, like, I want to be noticed. Like, he wanted to be noticed so bad. I always want to be noticed. I'm like, dude, really? Like, I'm right here. And if I was in battle, seriously, the thing I'd do to distract the person is, ooh, child, things are gonna get easy. I would distract them by that. I would be like the goofy type, weird guy. I think you're Groot because this guy would never hurt a fly, and he's super, super nice. But that's who I think you are. You might think you're Rocket or something, but
I mean, I don't think I'm Rocket. I just love Rocket. He's awesome. I just
yeah,
think he's the coolest dude ever.
yeah,
And honestly, if I was a mercenary, I probably would act like Rocket.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, that's our review, guys. We're gonna give a rating out of 10. With you just seeing it, and you coming back from the movie, enjoying it, thinking, wow, that was a great movie, so you get to experience all just the joy and everything. What would you rate it?
Well, when I first started off, I started with a 5, in my head, and with all of the positives, it bumped right up to a 10. But then I saw a couple negatives, so it went down a little. And I'm saying it's down in the really good range of an 8.6 or an 8.7.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna go higher than you, and I thought this film was so good that I put it in the 9s, and I gave it a 9.2. I loved it that much.
And maybe it even deserves it.
It's not like
I'm not very good at the whole...
It's not like my Days of Future Past 10 or my Dawn of the Planet of the Apes 9.8, but it's still up there. It's 9 or a 9.2, somewhere around there, like 9 or 9.2,
Yeah.
somewhere in between there.
So if you want to add our two things together, that would be 17.8
out of 20,
out of 20.
if you wanted to add our things
So
together.
that's way above good. That's great.
Yeah.
That's an awesome movie that you should go see if you haven't. Shouldn't be watching this video if you haven't, honestly.
Yeah, I mean...
But if you haven't seen it and you wanted all the spoilers, we didn't give too many on it.
Yeah.
You should go see the movie anyway because it's awesome.
But leave around the post-credit scene, because watch the first one.
If you want to
Watch
see the post-credit
one.
scene, you can see the
Watch the
post-credit
first one.
scene.
Oh, baby, give me one more chance with the dancing group. You can watch.
Yeah,
you can watch that.
that's hilarious.
You can watch that first one. That one's hilarious. But the other one was just like, really, that was a waste of my life. But you can watch that one. But just
And those of you who are
one.
watching this video and have seen it, go watch it again. Just get out of here and go watch it because it's
get out
awesome.
here right now and watch it. That's why it made $94 million in the box office. Is so many people went to go see it the
Again
next
and again
day
and again and again.
afterwards.
Because
Like,
it's,
again and again.
I'm saying it's awesome.
Amazing this film is. I said like Yoda. It's awesome.
Amazing this film is, man.
We are such like Yoda. That's crazy. But
See him. I swear, go watch that movie, man.
it's the best. And buy the soundtrack, guys. The soundtrack, that was a major positive for me. The music, the soundtrack's great. I was clapping, snapping through the whole thing. I was like dancing to the hey, all that. I was like, I was like dancing and loved it. So you guys should buy the soundtrack, buy the movie.
Okay, ready?
Hey guys, Captain Arg here. Remember to subscribe to Mega Movies with the Z to get all your latest and movie news and reviews. Also, tune in on August 15th through 20th to get a new spoilers review on Expendables 3. It's gonna be awesome, peeps, so remember to subscribe. Oh yeah, watch us do off. It's hilarious.
We're not gay, guys.
No,
Put down a
I'm
feeling. I believe it.
These are the only lyrics I know.
I know the song.
I don't know this song.
So please subscribe.
Subscribe
Get podcasts
to our video.
and reviews.
You won't regret it,
Or-
cause it's
Cause it's